Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and the beautiful early spoilers February 16th to 20th. Eric claims ultimate victory and Ivy completely loses control. Bold and the beautiful spoilers for February 16th to 20th 2026 imply that Eric Forrester, John McCook, gets the last laugh and Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, is completely unhinged. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, then we'll dive into what is coming next week. Let's get to it. On Wednesday, February 11th, it looks like Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, is going to keep showing Melissa Dillon, Sydney Bullock, a lot of empathy and kindness. He's going to get her a job at Illinois Giardino. It doesn't look like she's going to be a server because she's in a black apron instead of the green server aprons, but maybe working in the kitchen, something like that. Of course, Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, is going to find out this week that Dillon is still in Los Angeles. Deke, of course, realizes right away that Dillon's homeless. I'm sure he'll be able to convince his dad, Deacon Sharp, Sean Canan, to hire Dillon. But I wonder if they are going to offer her one of the apartments upstairs or if there may not be one available. That may be where Deke is staying since he broke up with Remy Price, Christian Weissman. And that was his roommate. So we'll find out soon. Will's going to be up at Illinois Giardino very soon, confronting Dillon out by the dumpster. Deke is there too. Will is demanding to know why Dillon lied about having a new job and that she told them she was leaving Los Angeles. She's going to be very upset about this confrontation. It looks like she may break down and tell Will that Ivy blackmailed her and forced her to lie and say that she was leaving. Dillon's bottom line is she doesn't want to cause any problems for him and Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace. Will's gonna bring Dillon back to his house. We've got a big four-person showdown coming by the end of the week. It could really affect Will and Electra's future. Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, and Carter Walton's, Lawrence St. Victor, wedding takes place in the Forrester Creations showroom on Wednesday. They are going to be up on the runway saying their vows, and Zende Forrester Dominguez, Delonda Metz, is officiating. Now, this is a fast-track wedding because initially, this was supposed to just be an engagement party that Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes was throwing. But then they've decided they don't want to wait. So, a quickie wedding. We're going to have Donna Logan, Jennifer Gary's, there with Eric. Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, is there with Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay, and Steffi and John Finn Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, are there. So, it's a relatively small crowd. Zende officiates and takes Daphne and Carter through it. It's nice for Carter because he's always been the officiant, and now he finally gets to be the groom that makes it all the way to man and wife. They are officially hitched. On Thursday, February 12th, Donna may find herself feeling a little guilty at the wedding. Rich keeps trash-talking Logan, and she knows he's doing it in front of Eric, who's the designer. Rich was just doing it again with Carter this week. He cannot keep his mouth shut about this. He really wants Katie Logan, Heather Tom, to fail but then also says that he doesn't want her to fail. But we all know he wants her to fail. If Ridge is dissing Katie's fashion house while her new lead designer, Eric, is sitting right next to him, I think that's going to be pretty soapy. I'm sure that's going to have Eric just wanting to double down on showing up Ridge at the fashion show. By the end of Thursday, we've got Carter and Daphne officially declared husband and wife. Then it's on to a little wedding reception and later right to baby making. Daphne, of course, is hoping that she might already be pregnant. That's why she wasn't having any champagne at her impromptu bachelorette party. I'm hoping to see good news for them on that front very soon. We know that Carter's very intent on being a dad. On Friday, February 13th, Electra, Will, and Dillon are all over at Will's place. Ivy's there, and she thinks she's about to drop this big bombshell about Will doing naughty and inappropriate things behind Electra's back. But her read on the whole thing is just wrong. Ivy tells Electra she didn't want her to find out what Will and Dillon have been doing behind her back, but then Ivy says it's time she heard the truth. Electra is like, what truth? Of course, she's going to believe everything out of her aunt's mouth. Ivy's going to tell her this tiny dancer tale of Dillon being on Will's lap and that they were about to kiss. I'm sure it's going to be about how Dillon spent all evening with him and was showing off her body. All this nonsense. I hope Will speaks up and says that he asked Dillon to dance for him because if anybody overstepped, it's Will. I agree that him asking Dillon to put on her toe shoes and dance around was inappropriate, but nothing inappropriate happened as a result. Electra is going to hit Will with an ultimatum. It may be that he can't see or talk to Dillon ever again or they are done, something like that. If Will was planning to let Dillon move back in, I'm sure Electra will pitch a fit about that. I'm guessing she is 100% going to believe Ivy over Will. We know from 2026 B&B spoilers that they are having issues soon. I think Ivy and Electra's less than charitable behavior towards Dylan isn't going to sit very well with Will. Plus, Carter and Daphne are husband and wife, and they are getting frisky. It's time to celebrate being married, and hopefully, that baby making is successful. The week of February 16th through the 20th is the last full week of February sweeps. The following week, we only have 3 episodes, and then it's done on February 25th. Right now, Ridge has pressured Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, into agreeing to stop seeing Deacon. But obviously, Taylor and Deacon are not going to stay apart on Bold and the Beautiful. Deacon was just telling Deke that he didn't think he was going to get to see Taylor anymore. But I'm sure Deacon is going to see Taylor again soon. All of her resolve will crumble. I think Deacon is going to have Taylor back in his arms soon. However, Deacon and Taylor may agree to keep everything hidden from everyone. Especially given the Steffi ultimatum until they see how things work out with him trying to split from his wife. Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, notices Deacon's increasing absences. There's the lack of intimacy, which is unusual because they've always been very frisky with each other. Sheila's going to get more and more suspicious. I expect snooping to commence soon and for her to be following Deacon around. Dylan is getting help from Deke, which is nice to see. RJ Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, is likely going to see Dylan up at Illinois Giardino. I think he may ask her out soon, which may bother Will. Bill Spencer, Don Diamorne, continues gleefully plotting Ridge's public humiliation. Katie and Eric are loving their work at Logan and should announce the fashion show date soon. Will was daydreaming about Dylan dancing this week. You guys saw that? But it's hard to tell if Will is just showing concern about her or if he's got some sort of low-key crush. The flashbacks look to me like a low-key crush. But Brad Bell's writing is so inconsistent and contradictory that it's hard to tell exactly what's wakes under a golden sunrise, but at the Forrester mansion, the air feels heavy, thick with tension, triumph, and heartbreak. This week, power shifts. Loyalties crack. And 2 very different storms take center stage. One man rises like a king reclaiming his throne. One woman spirals like a wildfire out of control. And when the dust settles, nothing at Forrester Creations will ever be the same again. Eric's long game finally pays off. Eric Forrester has always been the quiet force behind the fashion empire. While others fight loudly, Ridge with his temper, Steffi with her fire, Brooke with her emotions, Eric plays chess. And this week, checkmate. After weeks of subtle planning, secret meetings, and carefully chosen allies, Eric unveils a stunning announcement during a high-stakes board meeting. Every executive expects another debate about leadership, another round of tension between generations. Instead, Eric drops a bombshell. He's secured a massive international partnership, one that will skyrocket Forrester Creations into markets they've never dominated before. The contract is ironclad. The investors are loyal to him. And most shocking of all, the board votes unanimously to give Eric full creative authority over the next couture line. Ridge is speechless. Carter is stunned. Even Steffi can't hide her surprise. For the first time in years, Eric isn't just the founder. He's the unquestioned leader. And he wears that victory with quiet satisfaction. But Eric's triumph isn't just business. It's personal. He's determined to prove that experience still beats ego, that legacy still matters. When he walks through the design office later that day, staff members actually applaud. That's when you know something has changed. Eric didn't just win. He reclaimed his kingdom. Ridge struggles with the shift. For Ridge, the change hits hard. He's always assumed leadership would naturally pass to him. That it was destiny. But Eric's move reminds him of something uncomfortable. Nothing is guaranteed. Their father-son tension bubbles again, but this time Eric stays calm, almost too calm. You're talented, Eric tells him softly. But this house was built on patience, not pride. Those words sting more than any argument. Ridge begins questioning himself. Is he rushing decisions? Pushing too hard? For the first time, we see doubt creep into the once confident designer. And that vulnerability might cost him more than he realizes. Ivy's breaking point. While Eric rises, Ivy Forrester falls. Hard. At first, it starts small. Missed calls. Snappy comments. Late nights alone in the office. She tells everyone she's fine. But she's anything but. Watching Eric reclaim control triggers something deep inside her, a desperate need to prove herself, to matter, to not be forgotten in the family legacy. She pitches bold designs. Too bold. Risky. Unstable. The board rejects them. Again. And again. Each no chips away at her composure. Then comes the final blow. Eric chooses another designer to headline the new line. Not Ivy. Not even close. The humiliation burns. The meltdown. By midweek, the pressure explodes. During a critical fitting session, Ivy loses it. Models stand frozen. Assistants stare. Fabric swatches scatter across the floor. She shouts at everyone, accusing them of sabotage, favoritism, betrayal. You all think I'm invisible, she screams. I built half these concepts. Her voice cracks. Tears well. But the anger doesn't stop. She rips sketches off the wall. Throws a mannequin. Security is nearly called. It's messy, public, and heartbreaking. Because underneath the rage is fear. Fear of being irrelevant. Fear of never measuring up. Liam and Hope witness the fallout. Hope watches Ivy's breakdown with sympathy. Liam with concern. Both recognize something deeper is happening. This isn't ambition. It's desperation. Hope tries to talk to Ivy later, offering support. But Ivy pushes her away. Save the pity, she snaps. You've always had everything handed to you. The words cut deep. Friendships fracture. Trust dissolves. And suddenly Ivy finds herself more alone than ever. Eric's unexpected compassion. Just when Ivy seems completely lost, Eric does something surprising. Instead of punishing her outburst, he calls her into his office privately. No board. No judgment. Just a conversation. He tells her about his own failures. His own rejections. The years people doubted him. You don't win by burning the house down, he says gently. You win by building something they can't ignore. For a moment, Ivy's walls crack. She listens. Actually listens. But whether it's enough to save her, remains uncertain. The cliffhanger ending. By Friday, Eric celebrates his biggest success in years, champagne, applause, contract signed. The king has returned. Yet across town, Ivy sits alone in her apartment, staring at her rejected sketches. Then she does something shocking. She pulls out a secret folder. New designs. Edgier. Dangerous. Nothing like Forrester style. And she whispers to herself. If they won't let me shine here, I'll make them regret it. Is she planning to leave? Start a rival brand? Or sabotage from within? Whatever she chooses, one thing is clear. Eric may have won the war, but Ivy is ready to start a whole new battle. And next week, the fallout could destroy everything.